Hey guys, what's going on? So, a long time ago, or not a long time ago, it feels like a really long time ago because that's when I posted this video, but it was probably like 3 videos ago. I posted a video that was, if you really like Boreas, if Boreas is your thing, run this deck. Because I was playing up against somebody who was running Boreas, and I thought that I was gonna win, and I definitely didn't win. And, since then, I realized how good Boreas is, specifically on a J tile. And this is the reason why J is so good. So Boreas does damage, and it actually does a reasonable amount of damage. But what you're really doing, is you're using, not only the wind speed tile, because obviously the wind speed tile, but you're very specifically using Sudden Shot. The level 15 ability doesn't necessarily matter, but that will also push your damage. And then obviously having it level 20, which is what I'm going to do, that is going to make you're going to get better activations. Your activations are going to every so often like rotate quicker, but you're also not doing a lot of damage with that. Most of your damage is coming from Sudden Shot. Your Sudden Shot is also going to be, different percentages here. Or your shot damage your shot damage percentage is going to be different at lower levels, but basically, units on a wind tile during the attack will have a chance of triggering a weakened version of the crack shot ability. So crack shot is what Jay, the character, has, where it deals damage, and then you're getting a armor destruction. Every unit on a wind speed tile, is also going to deal damage, at which point it's also going to do, a weakened version of armor destruction as well. And this is where all of your damage, or most of your damage, is coming from. Boreas actually does a reasonable amount of damage based on your crit percentage, based on all of your factors, but I tried to build this deck as quote-unquote free-to-play friendly as I could, but this is essentially what you're doing. So for the most part, I feel like a lot of people have a tough time sometimes rolling spears. Okay, so the normal equipment package, the base one, the one that you're going to see in the random tournament in every single battle, is going to be spear, mage robes, and then growth tile. I did not roll very well, and I have a crit bow, a hunter's jacket, and a growth tile. I obviously have a growth tile that I normally use. I have an amulet. I basically have all the things except for the spear and the mage robe. So if you happen to not roll very well, like I did, and instead you have a amulet of weakness and you have a hunter's jacket, this is your time to shine. I think this deck is really good at really low levels, and a lot of people ask how to get to 6,000, and I feel like you can reasonably probably get to 6,000 with this deck. If that is your goal, and you're really early on in the game, you don't have all the cards, you don't have max level cards, I think this is something that you could theoretically invest into, if you're just trying to get to 6,000. But trust me when I say that once you get to 6,000, your next question will be, how do I get to 7,000? How do I get to 8,000? How do I get to 9,000? That's just going to be your next question. And that's why I never really like entertaining the idea of how do I get better in PvP? Because it's just a ladder. It's an infinite ladder. You're just, once you get to somewhere, you'll always want to get more. You'll always want to be like, how do I push harder? But if your goal is to get to 6,000, which I don't even think is the goal. I think like 6225, like hitting these like legendary thresholds, should be your goal. The 6225 and then obviously the 6950, those should be your goal. More so than the number 6,000. But if you are trying to get to that, I think that this is a reasonably good, deck that you can start building very early on, where you don't have to invest into a lot of other things. Obviously a lot of other things are going to make this deck better, but again, like I said, because you're just trying to get to 6,000, like this deck is not going to start winning you games if you just build like the maxed out version of this deck. The maxed out version of this deck is a different deck. You have to use like Necromancer, and you stop using Boreas, you use Minotaur, you stop using Harlequin and Dryad, you can start using Frost and Summoner. Then you're basically just building the toxic deck, right? Because that's what this essentially is. So if you don't understand how all of these parts work, essentially, you're using Jay's Crack Shot ability, and you're putting Boreas on a J tile, because Boreas has the highest speed in the game. I think Lightning Mage is pretty fast as well. That's why people use it in tournament, or in Rush for Glory, the one where you can build your own deck. And that's why people use that, because it doesn't have a cooldown. But because you can use anything, Boreas is the fastest attacking thing. And again, if you have higher talents, Second Breath, Sleep Arrows, Precise Shooting, and Force of Wind, for sure, is going to be the best thing in this. But essentially what you want is a Boreas that's a level 11, specifically so that you can use Sleep Arrows. Sleep Arrows it's going to reduce the opponent's units by 25%. And it just, every so often, it has a 20% chance of shooting 2 arrows, which also, as a side benefit, gets rid of Dark Inquisitor shields and Mermaid shields, which is running around, and that becomes a thing. But if they don't have that, you're slowing them down by 25% for 10 seconds, which doesn't seem like a lot. But then when you add up all of your other things, when you have a Hunter's Jacket and you're reducing their speed like that, and then when you're running Amulet of Weakness, you're also giving them weakness tiles, and so they will also be weakened if they decide to build on that tile. So you're giving them tiles that they can't even use, which is a problem for some decks, and for people who don't think that is a thing that matters. It definitely does matter, especially when you stack all of these things. Clock is also here because it is the generic slow down your opponent. And then I'm also running Sharpshooter as my this spot is a flexible spot. You can put Witch in here. You can put Shaman. I think that Sharpshooter with Stun Shot is probably the best. It's also going to theoretically, with aim shots, it's also going to help you with bosses. And those are really the two modifiers that matter. With Dryad, I'm actually going to run Fairy of Growth. I don't think that the damage is important so much as the higher merge ranks to get both attack speed on here, higher clocks, which is going to reduce their attack speed, and then higher sharpshooters are going to allow you to stun more things all the time. So with the combination of your equipment slowing them down, your Boreas doing both damage as well as slow down with sleep, and then your clock slowing them down, all of this just kind of works together. And a long time ago, I built this deck because somebody used it against me, like a maxed out version, and I can never figure out how it would work, specifically because Boreas is not a great attacking unit. Jay changes all of that. This all works because of the level 15 or the level 10 ability of Sudden Shot. If you don't have Sudden Shot, this deck doesn't work. Also, you do need a counterspell on one of your units or one of your equipment. It doesn't need to be a good counterspell, but it needs to be on Forest faction. And it doesn't need to be the main faction, obviously, but you do have to have it unlocked. So it can be counterspell 1, counterspell 2. I'm only running the 1. It's basically the worst version of this deck, but I still think at this early stage in the game, again, because you're trying to get specifically to 6,000, not a lot of decks are prepared for what this deck can do. And I obviously have like really high crit percentage. I have reasonably high, like this is a level 9, which is fine. This is a level 11. The higher the Boreas, the better. I do have a max sharpshooter, and then Dryad's an 11, but I don't have like Poisonous Fruit. Poisonous Fruit is also going to add to this deck because that is also slowing them down. And that's why I think that Dryad works really well in this deck as well. It does double duty for leveling you up, and then it also throws stuff at them so you can get rid of Mermaid shields. and then it also slows them down, which is the entire purpose of this deck. I think this deck, it just works. It all works together. It all works as a deck. And I really like it. I really like all the synergy. And because you're specifically attacking their speed and not them, you're not attacking their damage, you have the ability to punch up with this deck. You can face a lot of decks that you should probably not be able to beat, and you will beat them because if you reduce their attack speed so much that they just can't attack fast enough, and they just get overwhelmed much quicker than when they would usually get to the end of the game and, be doing infinite damage. You can slow their attack speed down so much that they need to upgrade their units much higher in order to do the same amount of damage. And it becomes much more difficult for them. So I'm going to jump into a couple of games. I might pause this, or I guess we're going to jump into a game immediately. So this is Sea Dog, no talents. This is Robot, no talents. There's a part of me that thinks he's probably going to quit. And if he doesn't quit, yeah, he's probably going to quit. Is he going to quit? If he doesn't quit, then I'll show you this deck. But there's a part of me that thinks he's going to quit. He's going to quit. He merged all of his things into one thing. He's going to quit. I'm just going to quit. I'm not trying to raise my rating. And so I just really want to show you some kind of gameplay here. And there was a part of me that wanted to, that I could theoretically just play a game that I've already played. But there's a part of me that wants to show you how this deck works. And it's really hard for me to predict my own movements if I just play a game that I already played. If I do a replay of a game that I already played. Oh, this looks amazing. So this is Max Monk. This is a deck that I feel like I shouldn't win against. It's a level 10, reasonably high equipment, all the things. This is a deck that I feel like I shouldn't win. He has a reasonably high sword. He has a Max Monk, a level 10 mermaid with the duck. So essentially what you want to do is get all of your Boreases on a wind speed tile. You just want to summon in. You can merge onto it, but if it doesn't become it, then you are going to have to merge off. The reason why Harley Quinn is in the deck, it does double duty for copying Dryads, but you're also able to, if you get one, you can upgrade something else and then copy a Boreas onto a tile. Because eventually, yeah, see, I need to get rid of this thing. Because eventually, what's going to happen, oh, here we go. Eventually, your counter spell is going to kick in, and it's going to remove your debuff. And then your Boreas is going to be fine. Technically, it doesn't matter, because, again, you are using Crackshot, and that is where most of your damage is coming from. It's not coming specifically from the Boreas, even though the Boreas is doing an amount of damage as well. I can merge that onto that, but if that becomes a level 3 clock, I lose a spot, or it just becomes much more difficult to merge off. I'm going to instead merge that up and then move that off. That was actually a perfect merge there. You want high level sharpshooters, and merging into a sharpshooter as opposed to having to use your Dryads is going to help with that. Because of the faction bonus, right? Oh, I should have used my J right there. Because of the faction bonus, all three of those were going to become level 2s. And then I could have had quad level 2s because I had a level 2 Dryad right there. But I didn't. I thought that I would have killed it, but it's fine. You don't really need these early clocks. Clocks are mainly a late game thing. because of the faction bonus right now, actually I should be upgrading this. What am I doing? Because of the faction bonus right now, the Harlequins are also going to level up. But this deck doesn't rely on the fact that there is a faction bonus right now. That's just another thing that is really good for this deck right now. I'm going to do that. This will become a 3. At which point I could make that I can copy for a 3. That's actually really good. I'm gonna do that, and I'm actually just gonna sit here and level things up. We have a second tribunal here. I'm gonna be smart and not forget to J the tribunal, because I should be able to just immediately kill it with the J. This is going to become a 3, so I can copy. This is going to become a 2, and then I can merge these and then get another 2 as well. Oh, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot. This is also why I like doing things live, because then you can see how dumb I am. That's also exciting for me. I love that I specifically said I'm not going to forget, and then immediately proceeded to forget. I hope that was, you guys should clip that out. That was amazing. I am going to get rid of all of these level 1s. I don't care about them right now. That's all a late game thing to me. And any Boreas that's not on a tile, I just immediately merge out because I don't care. I'd rather have higher level things, and I'd rather merge up into higher level things as opposed to using my Dryads for them. I'd rather use my Dryads to level up my Boreases early on so that I can level up everything else late game. The Sharpshooter is not going to matter until late game, and then the Clock is not going to matter really until late game. I can get rid of this, but I can wait for all of these to become a 2. And then like super merge, super copy. I'm gonna use J. We remembered. We did it. Look at me go. I'm gonna upgrade my Dryad so that I get all of the bonuses here. I'm gonna make that a 5. I'm gonna start leveling up these guys. I actually don't care about anything beyond a 5. That's really my goal. If I can get something to a 5. That was awkward. Like it could have saved that from being downgraded, and it was like, no. I'm just gonna save this guy. I'm gonna wait for all 3 of these to become a 2. And then we're in that same position where hopefully I remember to use the J for the tribunal. I like that they're giving me this amount of chances to remember. That's pretty cool. Because once I get rid of all of these spots and level up my my Boreas, oh here we go, J. Remember to J. Perfect. That's how it should work. Once I get these to reasonably high levels, I can start focusing on leveling up everything else. Again, I just want to merge up into higher things, and then level up the higher things. That's insane that he hit that amount of times. I'm gonna merge that out. I'm gonna merge out the Dryad. I'm actually... What am I gonna do? I guess I can merge these out, that's fine. That's gonna become a 3. I don't really want that. This is what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna use it. Yeah, I'm okay with that merging up. Merge that out. Merge that out. All of these are going to become 3s. We have a Kitsune and a... I don't know what the other thing is. What's the other thing? Is it a Bedlam? Is he just dead? I'm gonna merge this out. I feel like if he's not dead this round, he will be next round. Because I'm gonna use all of these on clocks. Or I guess I can't use them on clocks. What am I gonna use them on? The last of my Boreases? Probably. The last of that Boreas. I'm gonna use this on clocks. I'm gonna use this on a clock. I'm gonna use that on a clock. I'm gonna merge that, merge that. I'm gonna use that on a clock. I'm gonna upgrade that. Upgrade that. Merge this out. I guess I merge that out. Merge that out. Use that on a clock. Is this doing anything? Am I gonna get bedlammed? Is this gonna be really tragic and I get bedlammed? I don't really... I guess I do have to care about that. I'm gonna get bedlammed. Well, that's unfortunate. Does this mean I have to delete this entire video? Or do I accept that this is a good enough version of why I think this deck is good, even though I lost? I mean, to be fair, like, I'm using a max... I don't have a max Boreas. And I feel like that is... not having... Oh, wow, did I didn't lose, and I have a 5 on that? What if I don't lose this? Would that be insane if I didn't lose this? What do I even do here? There's no way I can win with, like, one guy on here. Oh, there's my 15% battery, because I'm always at 15%. This is yet another video where I'm at 15% battery. 4,000 crit, so we had basically equivalent crit to me. Max Monk. So yeah, this deck can't beat Max Monk, and if you're facing Max Monk at 5450 trophies, you were probably going to lose anyway, but maybe that's not what the point of this video is. I feel like a lot of creators make videos specifically when they win, and then you try the deck, and then you lose. So maybe this is my entire purpose in making this video, is to show you that, yes, it's kind of okay, but you're probably not going to beat a Max Monk. I think that it's a reasonably good deck to... what's it called? If you're facing, like, regular people at League 5 and League 6, you'll probably win. If you're facing a Max Monk deck with my crit levels of 4,000, if you're facing a 4,000 crit Max Monk deck, you are probably never going to win with anything anyway. And that's just how this game kind of goes. I think that if you're trying to push for 6,000, I think that this is a reasonably good deck to invest in. I also think that it's good because it's a lot of cards that you get really early on in the game. I think that Harlequin and Dryad are like one of the best cards that you just have to have one of. You don't need multiples of to make good. Obviously, if you do have upgraded Dryads, it's going to be better because you're going to get both Fairy of Growth, and then you're going to get the mana power up, and then if you have the 13, you're going to get the Poisonous Fruit. But I think that with little, like, lower tier investment, if you have a Harlequin, if you have a Dryad, if you have, like, a low tier level Clock obviously is another card that if you have higher, it's going to be better. And then Sharpshooter is a card that you can very easily rank up. And then Boreas is everybody's first, or Frost, I guess, is everybody's first legendary, but Boreas is like a close second. I think that if you have like minimal investment into Boreas, this deck works. And then I think that, like, again, with like a level 10 J is reasonably easy to get. And then if you didn't roll, if you did roll Spear is obviously going to be much better in this deck. But then if you didn't roll Mage Robe and Growth Tile, and instead you have a random Hunter's Jacket and Amulet of Weakness, here's a reason to use it. So, you know what? I think that this video does exactly what I want it to do. So I'm probably going to upload it. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk.